Thank you guys for letting me talk a little bit. Me and 5 other of the agents just got back from the Mike Ferry real estate retreat, and it will make you feel like this small because the guys, I was telling Jennifer earlier, talked to a guy, he has a team of 34 agents and they have 200 and something deals pending right now. They have more deals pending than probably our whole entire office with 34 people. And you know what they do every day? They do like 2-3 times a week where they actually make 100 contacts every single day. And on those days, they're set like 14, 16, 17 appointments per person. So what they're able to do is, how many people are they able to cancel an appointment with before they have to waste their time maybe dealing with an unmotivated seller? They have so many options right now that they can just call and say, unfortunately, I don't have time for you today. I'm going to work with some sellers who really want somebody who's going to be honest with them. They don't just want to tell them something that they want to hear. We should all put ourselves in positions like that. So instead of like talking and being super expressive like I usually am, I'm going to state some things that you guys need to write down. So hopefully you have a pen in hand. We're going to go over asking great questions and what is the value of asking great questions. You probably guys hear about so many people that are doing their listing appointments, they're doing their prospecting, or maybe you don't prospect. Maybe you just talk to your COI sometime and you find out that they buy or sell a house with somebody else. And there's probably a lot of great questions you really weren't asking. The first question is going to be the value of asking great questions. You're going to discover quickly what's important to the seller versus what's important to yourself. So write down, you'll discover quickly what's important to the seller versus what's important to yourself. Number 2, the value of asking great questions is going to show the client that you're interested in them. Of thought and emotions. And I want you to put a star next to this. Emotions promote action. So if you're really tipping on somebody's motivation in that conversation with them, and you're really hitting all the key points and you're asking those questions, you see what they say, you repeat what they say, you ask another question, you're going to be moving them down the line where they're trying to go. They evoke a lot of thought and emotions. Put a star next to this. Emotion promotes action.
Bless you.
Number 4, it is the fastest way to changing a person's perspective. Telling creates defensive responses. Telling creates defensive responses. Write faster. I have 13 of these, so.
Fastest way to change a person's what?
It's the fastest way to get them to change their behavior. Does that make sense for y'all? It's the fastest way to change a person's perspective. Telling creates defensive responses. It's the fastest way to get them to change their behavior. It's the fastest way to changing a person's perspective. Telling creates defensive responses, and it's the fastest way to get them to change their behavior. Number 5, when you're sitting down with sellers, ask them both the same questions. Don't talk to one person. Now, we all to number 6 yet?
No.
Number 5. Always ask both parties all the questions. That's number 5. So number 6, the competition is talking and bragging about themselves, while a great agent is asking a lot of questions. So number 6, the competition is talking and bragging about themselves, while a great agent asks a lot of questions. Usually you can ask them what agent that was, who was there before you, look their production up, and it's probably a lot of BS on what they're bragging about. Number 7, it's going to force you to develop versatility. So by asking those questions, it's going to be forcing you to develop your versatility. Number 8, if you're...
Wait, whoa. I haven't even started on 7. Okay, forces you to develop versatility.
I just repeated it.
Hey Chris, maybe you just follow up with an email for everyone. You can talk about it and follow up with an email.
Well, I'm going to talk about it But I'm gonna finish it. If you guys want to write the questions down, you definitely can. Mike probably spit on the floor and just keep going. So, I'm just gonna do what he would do. So, number 7, I'm gonna go ahead and say, forces you to develop versatility. It's a 5-word sentence. So, number 8 that Mike said was, it's gonna keep you from getting off your script. Whatever script you're on. Larry's doing a Mike Ferry, if he's doing a Grant Cardone, any of those things, asking those questions, you're going to be staying on your script.
That was number 7?
That's number 8.
Number 8, don't get off script. Go on.
There you go, right? Number 9, it's going to help the client become engaged.
Engage your client, number 9.
There you go. It helps the client become engaged. If you're sitting there just telling them, they're not going to be getting engaged with that. So number 10, it's going to identify the things that a client doesn't want us to know, which is probably the most important thing out of all those. Because if you're sitting there just talking, talking at your butt and just keep going and going, you're going to figure some things out a week, 2 weeks later that you probably wish you would have found out the first day you met with them. So you're going to identify the things the client doesn't want us to know. Number 11, it causes a client to become fully engaged in the presentation. Causes a client to become fully engaged in the presentation. Number 12, by asking these questions, it's the only way to stay in control and have a great listing agent, and a great listing agent is in control all the time. So it's the only way to stay in control, and a great listing agent is in control all the time. So what I can do is definitely send an email today so you guys can read it as slow as you guys want to while I'm out there asking more questions to people. And that's pretty much what I got. So I thought out of everything that Mike talked about this week, it was the most important thing because a lot of the people I speak with that they've been going and doing the Mike Ferry stuff, they go through the role of it, they think they know the scripts or they might know the scripts, but when they really get to that presentation, they're not in control. So if you're asking those questions, who's in control? They're repeating, they're saying something, you're repeating what they say, you're asking the next follow-up question. And if you're not asking those questions and you're just foaming out the mouth, they're going to start foaming out the mouth as well, and you're really not going to get where you're trying to get at. And you're going to find out a lot of things a couple weeks later that you really wish you would have found out the first day. So thank you guys.